Morning, Watson. I have tried to start this video so many times. For some reason, I'm really tripping over my words tonight. So bear with me. I'm not starting again. Even if Hamish makes noise, even if I stumble, we're just doing this. So you and I have discussed before this quotability that certain authors have when they write. I think we often talk about it in regards to John Green and sort of how on every other page of one of his novels, there's just a line that you can, obviously in context is great, but you can also take out of context and it's just beautiful. It's basically a little poem of a line that, you could put on an Instagram feed or on a pretty picture on Pinterest, and it's just quotable. He's a quotable writer. I think one of the examples that we use sort of a lot, not just you and I think other people do, is this quote, like, "I fell in love the way you fall asleep, slowly and then all at once." Right? It's beautiful. It's just a line, but it's incredibly poetic and it's accurate too. I think that's something that makes great poetry or great writing, is that you can find these lines that you're just like, yes, that's how you fall in love, or at least it's a way to fall in love that resonates, All right, so that is my long-winded introduction to other writers that I don't think we talk about as much, but have this same quotability. And in fact, the writer specifically I want to talk about today, I might like his quotability almost more than John Green. I know, sacrilege to say, but it's true. I love Lemony Snicket. And yes, I know that that is actually not the author of the series of unfortunate events, because it's a pseudonym or a fake person. But just because Lemony Snicket only exists on paper and in a TV series, why on earth should that mean that he's not real? Anyway, so I just recently finished watching the Netflix version of A Series of Unfortunate Events. Look at this hair. Ugh. I just finished watching it, and it's so good. It's a really great adaptation, and it specifically reminded me of how much I loved just reading that series. It's, like I said, just beautiful and so quotable, and it's this incredibly unique form of writing that's absurdist but so literal, and it's pessimistic but beautiful. And I think that's why a lot of people like it, and why it is a series that sort of stands on its own and doesn't exist in like a similar series somewhere else. So what I want to do for the majority of this video, although I feel like I've already spent a really long time introducing it, is I would like to just read a couple of my favorite Lemony Snicket quotes and just let's resonate in this author's quotability a little bit. I hope that is entertaining to you. Everyone at some point in their lives wakes up in the middle of the night with the feeling that they are all alone in the world, that nobody loves them now, that nobody will ever love them, and that they will never have a decent night's sleep again, and will spend their lives wandering blearily around a loveless landscape, hoping desperately that their circumstances will improve, but suspecting in their heart of hearts that they will remain unloved forever. The best thing to do in these circumstances is to wake somebody else up so they can feel this way too. It is difficult when faced with a situation you cannot control to admit you can do nothing. Reading is one form of escape. Running for your life is another. The sad truth is the truth is sad. At times the world may seem an unfriendly and sinister place, but believe that there is much more good in it than bad. All you have to do is look hard enough, and what may seem to be a series of unfortunate events may in fact be the first steps of a journey. Those are all great ones. I do, however, have one more sort of Lemony Snicket quote I want to read to you. However, credit where credit's due, this is not actually written by Lemony Snicket. It's a real poem, which was featured in the Netflix adaptation in the last episode. And as with all parts of that series, it just really resonated with me, and I think it's really beautiful. So the poem is "The Night Has a Thousand Eyes," and it's by Francis William Bourdillon. I'm sure I didn't say his last name perfectly, but since he was born in 1852, he might forgive me. "The night has a thousand eyes, and the day but one, yet the light of the bright world dies with the dying sun. The mind has a thousand eyes, and the heart but one, yet the light of a whole life dies when love is done." It's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful poem, and it's exactly in the spirit of why I like A Series of Unfortunate Events, where it's beautiful but tragic, and it's it's a little bit romanticized, it's a little bit grandiose, but it's so true. It has that resonance that I was talking about earlier. So anyway, I really enjoyed that series. I know this video is a little bit wishy-washy, and I apologize for being a little bit stumbly, although maybe I'll be able to edit it out so it doesn't actually seem that bad. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do, was fangirl about Lemony Snicket and just clarify that he is a great otter. Oh, he's a great otter. There's the stumble. Anyway, just wanted to fangirl. Don't think I forgot about your punishment. It's here. It's in the video. Ooh, so exciting. It is also on theme. I want you to take my little poem from the end of this video, and/or I will give you freedom to choose a different poem in the same vein of sort of beautiful, lovey. Don't choose a like Shakespeare sonnet. That's just like a little bit of a cop-out. But choose this poem or a different short love poem, and I want you to read it to a man. And I don't want you to explain what you're doing before you read it to the man. I just want you to read it to him. He can't be a relative or a friend that's like so close he's basically related to you, because that just seems like cheating. So, a male acquaintance, I want you to read him a beautiful, slightly tragic love poem of your choice, or again, you can choose mine because it is great. And that's your punishment. I'm gonna trust you to do it, and then you can talk about the experience, but I won't make you film it because that could be really complicated if you're like, hey, person, I'm gonna film you and read this poem. And they'll be like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know how you're gonna start that without explaining what you're doing, but it's the punishment, so figure it out. Okay, talk to you later.